Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, in a small coastal town, there lived a boy named Ethan. He wasn't the fastest, the strongest, or the smartest in his class. In fact, most people would have called him ordinary. His father worked as a fisherman, his mother in a bakery. Life was simple but tough. From a young age, Ethan had one dream. He wanted to sail across the sea, to explore beyond the horizon, to see what was out there. But every time he shared his dream, people laughed. "Ethan, you're too weak for that. Stay here, be realistic, follow your father's path." And for a while, Ethan believed them. But one winter, tragedy struck. A violent storm wrecked his father's boat and took his life. Overnight, Ethan became the main support for his family. He was just 15. Now, this was the first great hardship. Most boys his age were still worrying about exams or games. Ethan was worrying about putting bread on the table. He worked on docks, carried crates heavier than his own body, and sometimes went to bed hungry so his mother and sister could eat. But here's the thing about hardships. They don't just test us, they shape us. Each day of struggle was silently carving strength into Ethan's bones. Each sleepless night was building resilience in his heart. Years passed. Ethan grew into a young man. The world around him had already given him more storms than calm seas, but he never let go of his dream. He saved every coin he could. He studied maps by candlelight. He listened to sailors' stories like they were sacred lessons. Finally, one summer, Ethan managed to buy a battered old boat. People mocked him again. That wreck won't make it past the bay. But Ethan smiled. He had been mocked before. Hardship had made him immune to doubt. On the morning of his voyage, the town gathered to watch. Some expected him to sink, but Ethan set sail. For weeks, the sea tested him with waves taller than his mast. He endured storms that threatened to rip the boat apart. Nights were cold and lonely, days were blistering hot. But each hardship reminded him he had faced worse on land. Hunger, he had known it. Exhaustion, he had carried it for years. Fear, he had already buried it the day his father died. After many weeks, Ethan reached a distant shore, a land no one from his town had ever seen. He returned not just with stories, but with maps, new trade routes, and treasures that changed his village forever. The same people who once mocked him now welcomed him as a pioneer. They called him extraordinary. But Ethan never saw himself that way. He simply remembered the hardships that had shaped him. Without those storms, both in life and at sea, he never would have had the strength, the courage, or the wisdom to achieve his destiny. And that, my friends, is what C.S. Lewis meant when he said, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." Maybe right now you are going through your own storm. Maybe it feels unfair, too heavy, too painful. But remember Ethan. Remember that life's harshest winds are often shaping your sails. The weight on your shoulders today is building the strength you'll need for tomorrow. Your struggles are not breaking you, they're preparing you. So the next time hardship knocks at your door, don't curse it, welcome it as a teacher, because it just might be leading you to an extraordinary destiny you cannot yet see. Thank you.